Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Today I wanted to do a little bit of a different video, breaking down um, arguably one of grappling's biggest weekends in the history of the sport, and have a look and chat about ADCC versus CJI, the pros, the cons of both events, what it was like being on the ground in Vegas for ADCC, and what I saw from CJI, um, and essentially who I think won in this kind of rivalry. So I'll not bury the lead at all here. I think that the fans are really the winners of this rivalry, if we want to call it that. I think that the fans win big both ways here, and it's good for the sport of jiu-jitsu, it's good for the sport of grappling, and I think overall what we're seeing is a very interesting shift in jiu-jitsu becoming mainstream because of this sport. So because of this rivalry, if we want to call it that. So I think we have a lot to thank both organizations for. I think I want to get that out of the way at the start. I've got no horse in this race. I'm just a guy who grapples. And I don't necessarily, everything that I talk about in this video is my opinion. I don't necessarily stand one or the other over the others. I compete in ADCC trials and open events. Would I love to compete in CJI? Of course. Like, are we at that level yet? Probably not. Otherwise, we would be there. So with that said, I wanted to go over a couple of my big takeaways from both events in this video. So I'll get straight into it. As I said, I think that this was probably the biggest weekend for jiu-jitsu that we've ever seen. And it was amazing to be on the ground in Vegas and kind of see that history unfolding right in front of us. There were huge moments that came out of CJI. There were huge moments that came out of ADCC. So I'll talk about some of the big standouts for me from both of those. And I think the first one would have to be Pixley versus Marigali at ADCC. Of course, Marigali was very vocal himself about how well he was going to do coming into this event. And I think it's fair to say that a lot of people assumed that that was not false confidence. I think, from the record that he was accruing leading up to that in his super fights and what he was achieving across the UFC Fight Pass Invitational and in Who's Number One, it seemed like he was coming in with a lot of momentum, which was dramatically shut down by Mr. Pixley. Pixley used an overhook and twice threw Marigali with an Uchimata, Harai Goshi kind of variation. The second time putting Marigali down, damaging his shoulder, and then finishing him with a Das choke. The pop in the stadium when that happened was absolutely electric. The whole of T-Mobile went up in arms about that. It was a huge pop. It reminded me a lot of when Haisam Rita submitted Cyborg in 2022. It was that same level of electricity, and that pop of the crowd at ADCC is unbelievable. So big shout out to Pixley for doing that. That was just amazing to watch. Great dude as well, so it's awesome to see him get his recognition and his comeuppance there. So that was a huge standout for me at ADCC. Followed by Giancarlo Bodoni's epic run at under 88. He is now the only person to win consecutive under 88 kg titles at ADCC. For anyone that knows, that is no mean feat at all. Winning it once is amazing enough, and the man came out in amazing fashion to win his second one in a row. I love seeing Giancarlo win. He's a great guy. I've been very fortunate to train with him, and easily one of the most technical guys that I've ever experienced firsthand. So it was really, really awesome to see him do that and share that moment with him at T-Mobile. So that was a huge standout and a unforgettable moment for me. I got to see Mika Galvao versus Wagner Rocha live in the finals, and that finals was absolutely amazing. Great technical match. Wagner really putting it out there for the old guys and showing what they're capable of. So I really, really enjoyed watching that match. It was absolutely electric, and the tension in the arena was amazing. With that said, the second day of ADCC was significantly more packed than the first day. Like I said, I have no horse in the race either way here between CJI and ADCC. What One of the big narratives that was kind of coming out was who was going to sell out and how many people were at either competition. So the first day of ADCC, obviously with less on the line before the finals and things like that, and before the absolute division, was the Saturday, and that was laid over with CJI, which ran in the afternoon. There were significantly less people on the first day at ADCC than there were on the second day. By the time the finals were coming on, there were no empty seats left in T-Mobile Arena. The finals throughout the day were packed. A lot of people did not leave their seats on the second day at ADCC. And yeah, the general vibe of the second day was absolutely epic. So, all of those finals matches were really packed. The crowd pops on any action was amazing, and the atmosphere inside T-Mobile itself was awesome inside the arena. With that said, a lot of the time, if you were watching from the stream, Flow could have done a better job at streaming the matches. With multiple mats going on at the same time, that's always going to be a challenge. I understand that. But there is no excuse for when a match is going on that the cameraman is filming and recording the corner while a submission and while action is going on the mat and is unseen to the audience who's watching on a stream which they are paying for. That is extremely, extremely frustrating. And not being able to see action and see submission action and focusing on the corner who's shouting their asses off is ridiculous. And I feel like the quality of the streaming was needs work for sure. I guess another standout for me was Kainen's run. He won his division and the absolute division with like all submissions. I mean, that's just phenomenal. So credit to him, credit to Adele as well, Adele Fornerino out of Australia as well, for taking out the women's absolute division and her division. And it was just really, really awesome to see someone who is so awesome, so hardworking, and such a lovely person do so well. So full credit to all of the athletes across every division. Without the athletes, the competition is not what it's going to be. So that was amazing. Across to CJI, I watched, as a true degenerate, watched the stream from start to finish for both days. And honestly, the format was phenomenal. The production quality was amazing. And it was something that was really unique and fresh. And I think that that's something that is very rare in the sport from what we've seen currently. And it's an innovative take, and these are the kinds of things that are going to elevate jiu-jitsu, elevate submission grappling into the mainstream. So with that said, I can't level any major criticisms at us having rival competitions running on the same weekend. Competition is a good thing. It's good for the sport. With that said, I did have some minor criticisms. I found the stream on both days to be extremely long. With a single mat, the alley, which is a great idea, with the slanted and angled walls to prevent the action going out of bounds. I think that's a great idea, but because only one match can go at a time, the streams were extremely long. Both days were extremely long, and by the end of the weekend, I was fully grappled out. Just watching grappling was there was a lot of it over the weekend. So with that said, I mean, it's just one of those things, we're focusing more on like the spectacle, and man, some of these competitors really brought that spectacle, and it would have been a real pity if there had been multiple mats going and we'd missed some of that. So with that said, when are we really going to complain about having too much grappling? I mean, not really. It's a minor gripe that I've got. I'm sure in the future that's something that they can adjust, and Craig's planning to run another one next year, and I'm looking forward to seeing how that goes. Of course, we had Theon versus Mackenzie Dern in the super fight. Theon looked amazing, and won that in a very, very decisive submission victory. Nikki Rod cleaned out the over 80 kg division. I think of the two divisions, it was certainly less stacked, with a couple people in there that were probably not like the best that could be in that division, but still amazing to see $1 million prize money. Like the kind of gravity that has for the sport is amazing. So awesome to see. Under 80 was certainly the division of action, and essentially showing the potential of where the sport can go, and really dragging CJI into the mainstream conversation and rivaling ADCC in a very big way. I mean, we had Cade Ruotolo versus Andrew Tackett in probably one of the best jiu-jitsu matches, best grappling matches of all time. If you haven't watched that, you need to go and watch that, because it was phenomenal from start to finish. Action, we had just submission attempts, we had scrappy wrestling, we had the alley being used. It was just electric. The crowd pops in Thomas and Mack were amazing as well. You could tell that the crowd was fully into it. It was fully booked out. There was very few, if any, free seats. Great crowd engagement, and really getting behind the athletes in every match. So the production was amazing. I think they did a fantastic job, and going live and streaming through YouTube, I think really shows us and those numbers and what jiu-jitsu and what grappling is actually capable of pulling in as an audience. So can't fault that at all. A couple of other standouts for me would have been Levi Jones-Leary. Every time the guy comes out, he makes me fall in love with the guard again. For some people, it's not the style that they like to see. They want to see that kind of like wrestling, action, lots of scrappiness on the feet. But I think for the jiu-jitsu purists, and seeing how Levi plays his guard game, you just get an entirely new appreciation for the technical ability that he has and the wizardry he brings to these positions that he plays. His De La Riva transitions and chasing the back, his bolos and his leg locks as well now out of these positions are something that I'm definitely going to be studying for my game for the foreseeable future. Even as a heavyweight, he's got that kind of appeal that just makes you go, holy shit, I want to get back to having like an amazing guard. I want to work on my guard and dive deep into it. So that was really phenomenal. Awesome to see, once again, another Australian doing well. Of course, like we're New Zealanders, I'm not about to go claim him, which is a little bit of a historical rivalry between our two fair nations, but it's inspiring for us as New Zealanders with an up and coming scene to see the established scene in Australia doing so well on the world stage. Whether that is ADCC, and we've got guys like Josh Saunders and Dan Declan Moody, Isaac Michelle, all competing in ADCC, or you've got guys like Levi and Lucas Kennard in CJI. And I mean, I think, but between Michael Pixley and finishing Marigali, and Lucas Kennard finishing Victor Hugo with the heel hook, those are probably the two biggest upsets that I've maybe like ever seen in grappling. And for them to happen in the same day was mind blowing. For Lucas to come out there and play such an awesome guard game and then get in on Victor's legs and submit him so quickly was amazing to watch. And yeah, just super exciting. So congrats to Lucas as well. That was really amazing. Those are pretty much my two big takeaways from the event. I mean, I said it right at the start. I don't think that there was a winner. I don't think one was clearly better than the other. I think that overall, this whole weekend was better for the sport of grappling than, if we just had one or the other. I think Craig Jones went on a massive promotional run to bring attention to CJI and to bring attention to athlete pay and what he's doing. The charity work he's doing for Fair Fight Foundation is obviously, really aspirational, and it's awesome to see some real positives coming out of the sport. It's awesome to see athletes getting paid. Regardless of whether it's ADCC or CJI, the more prize money there is for athletes, the more viable the sport becomes as a pursuit for young grapplers, young and up and coming grapplers. It wasn't so long ago that, you would pretty much murder a family member just to try and get a super fight. And now the fact that you can get paid to be on these shows, in the last decade, you've seen a massive shift. And I think that, there's only more positive growth to come because of events and these kind of storylines and narratives that allow fans and casual fans to get invested in characters and to get invested in certain competitors and athletes. We don't have to choose sides. We don't have to go, oh, it's one or the other. And I think that kind of famine mindset kind of holds the sport back. And in a lot of ways, those are things that we've had to deal with over the years in the sport, where people want to just try hang on to a small group that they have. They don't want people to cross-train. They don't want you to talk about competitions that you don't do. You only go to certain competitions where you think you could win. It's now just becoming way more mainstream. It's becoming way more viable for you to go into any kind of competitions, to go viral, to make something of yourself as a competitor. And it's almost kind of gone are the days where you just had to pay a ton of money to go to a competition. And that was it. There was nothing you could really leverage out of that. So now it's really, we're really starting to see a shift in the sport, and I'm all for it. I'm here to see where it goes, and it's exciting. It's genuinely exciting, and over the weekend, I spoke to a lot of people about their experiences with both. I'll leave that for them to speak about. It's not for me to go, oh well, I heard this one person say this or whatever. I think genuinely being on the ground and in the kind of vortex of what was going on was kind of strange at the time, but now that the dust has settled and I've had time to think about it, I think that it's only really a positive for the sport. Where do we go from here? I think it's only up. When you start seeing literally millions of people watching the sport, through a free stream even, it starts to show you the capacity for the growth of the sport. Does it always need to be hidden behind a paywall? Absolutely not. Does it increase the possibilities for pay-per-view events and for other things to occur, so that there are more shows, that there's more people participating in shows? 100%. So I'm really excited to see where it goes. I'm really excited to see um, what the next Craig Jones Invitational has, and what the next cycle for ADCC shows, and which athletes decide to go where, and who's doing both, and more exciting jiu-jitsu. So yeah, at that point, I don't really have much else to add to the conversation. Just my observations. Hope you enjoyed this style of video. It's a little bit different to the vlogs, so it'll probably aside to the vlogs. Um, as I've mentioned through social media before, I'm no longer going to be doing podcasts through Spotify. I'll likely be doing more video content through the YouTube channel here. So if you do enjoy the podcasts that already exist, sorry, there won't be any more there, but you'll be able to find them through the channel here on YouTube. So thanks for watching. If you've liked this video, leave a comment below, like and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next vlog or the next video. Us.